She rips open the wardrobe and the truth hits like a plague. Photos of his fetish gear, of secrets, lies, and rage. A father, a teacher, a man she once believed sincere. But the shrine he built in private makes his autogynophilia clear. He called her body flawed, criticized her curves and skin. Yet he worshipped himself and sat in selfies of his stupid grin. No, he wasn't finding womanhood, he wasn't lost and scared inside. He was an autogynophile, a fetish dressed as wounded pride. He leashed her life in silence, made her doubt her sanity. Every night he fed his hunger on the corpse of her identity. He never lost his mind. From her he made himself, betraying all their marriage vows, spending on their wealth. Dresses he required, her humiliation, her control. A man who ate her empathy to fatten his own soul. Weaponized compassion, turned her loyalty to chains. Called it love while staging rituals in addresses with a shame. He preached purity to children while he wallowed in deceit. A hypocrite in stiletto standing on her broken feet. He mimicked her movement slowly like a predator rehearsing prey. Now admiration, consumption, the desire to take her place away. He didn't crave her softness, he envied what she bore. He wanted womanhood as costume, but only so he could want it more. And she realizes, trembling as her stomach turns to ice, there was never dysphoria, just a man who fed on vice. He doesn't want redemption, he wants applause for every lie. He wants pity for the carnage he crafted while she'd cry. But she sees the truth uncovered, sees the hunger he disguised. An autogynophile tyrant who devoured what he idolized.
Hi, good afternoon. How the devil are you? Oh dear, what a day. I thought I'd start with this. I think you'll be pleased. I adore this man. I adore him. I'm very sad he's no longer with us. But be mindful and be warned.
Give it up or give it to your deadliest enemy and pay for the rope that will choke you. This is very urgent business, ladies and gentlemen, I beseech you. Resist it while you still can, and before the right to complain is taken away from you, which will be the next thing. You will be told you can't complain because you're Islamophobic. The term is already being introduced into the culture as if it was an accusation of race hatred, for example, or bigotry, whereas it's only the objection to the preachings of...
I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on with my... whatever this is.
Of a very extreme and absolutist religion. Watch out for these symptoms. They are not just symptoms of surrender. Very often ecumenic. Give it up or give it to your deadliest enemy and pay for the rope that will choke you. This is very urgent business, ladies and gentlemen, I beseech you. Resist it while you still can, and before the right to complain is taken away from you, which will be the next thing. You will be told you can't complain because you're Islamophobic. The term is already being introduced into the culture as if it was an accusation of race hatred, for example, or bigotry, whereas it's only the objection to the preachings of a very extreme and absolutist religion.
I'm so annoyed that that's not working. I'm going to find another source for this. Which would be good. I think it might be. There we go. Here we go. We'll try again, shall we? Bloody annoying. I do actually plan. It did work. You can hear it. Well, let's hear it from someone else. How irritating. Mr. Hitchens.
This is very urgent business, ladies and gentlemen, I beseech you. Resist it while you still can, and before the right to complain is taken away from you, which will be the next thing. You will be told you can't complain because you're Islamophobic. The term is already being introduced into the culture as if it was an accusation of race hatred, for example, or bigotry, whereas it's only the objection to the preachings of a very extreme and absolutist religion. Watch out for these symptoms. They are just symptoms of surrender. very often ecumenically offered to you by men of God in other robes, Christian and Jewish and smarmy ecumenical. These are the ones who will hold open the gates for the barbarians. The barbarians never take a city till someone holds the gates open for them. And it's your own preachers who will do it for you, and your own multicultural authorities who will do it for you. Resist it while you can.
Ah, don't you love him? Don't you miss him? Don't you wish he was still around? Because I jolly well do. Ah, Mr. Hitchens. I used to go to sleep every night listening to Mr. Hitchens. Wonderful, wonderful man. But yes, so resist it while you can, and it is, isn't it? It is the jolly nice people that hold the door open. It's so similar to the whole trans stuff. Who holds the door open? Well, usually the bloody frogs offer to piggyback the scorpion, and you know the scorpion and the frog. That the scorpion asked for a lift. Said to the frog, "Can you take me across the water? I can't swim." And he said, "Well, you're a scorpion. I don't want to take you across because you're going to hurt me." And he goes, "Of course I won't. Of course I won't do that. I really need to get across the water." And they're halfway across the water, and the scorpion nips the frog once, and the frog's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Well, I'm a scorpion." And he said, "Well, I knew you'd do this." And he said, "Well, you know, I am a scorpion." And he said, "Well, we can't go on anymore." And he goes, "I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do it again. I won't do it. I won't do it." And then he does it again. And as they're both drowning, the frog says, "Well, what are you doing?" He said, "Well, I am a scorpion." This is not, my husband bought me this scarf for Christmas. It's very nice. I know. I really should make some. I'm making merch at the moment. So I have just designed a Resist It While You Still Can hoodie, which I'll put on the website, and t-shirts. But we will be bringing, with the Women's Trust, we will be bringing out another range of merch so we can help fund the march and the meeting. So let me just say, I know Islam is really, really scary, but what is coming is so much worse than going and trying to, you know, like he says, resist it while you still can. Like, speak now whilst you can, because there's going to come a time really, really soon where you won't be able to speak. You just won't. A.G. Philbin says, "But what are the frog's pronouns?" Well, were and was. Scorpion's pronouns, sorry. Were and was. Anyway, so I'm bringing out 2 ranges. One is We Are Not the Same, which I believe you can apply to anything. It doesn't really mean anything. It means whatever you want. And Resist It While You Still Can. And just resist in general. So anyway, that's a call I probably should take. Dead and Dying. That would be a good one also, Linda. I just think it's really important. I want to show you this as well, because I've been saying for a long time, I'm not the only one. I'm not the most special. Well, maybe I am. But I've been saying this for a long time, that speaking about things is often gets more condemnation than the actual thing. So let's have a look here. Let me just see what that is, just in case I'm missing something urgent. Okay, all good. I'm on Dan Wootton a bit later, so yeah, that's why. Okay, so let's have a look at this dimwit, and what she has to say about the bombing in Manchester.
When
Why these things are
what we
happening.
did after the terror attacks was we came together and we stuck up for each other.
What is we hear this a lot. Oh, you know, after the terrorist attack, we came together. Why? Who did? What, you linked arms with people whose ideology meant that your the young women and children and men in that room got bombed to smithereens. It's like the Norm Macdonald tweet that says, you know, if we have a bomb attack where 50 million Americans die, the thing I worry about are the peaceful Muslims. What happens to the peaceful Muslims?
But you've never asked why are those things happening?
Of course we have.
Why are they happening?
Of course we have, because people like you are dividing
so I'm
people.
responsible for the
Because
Manchester
you
Evening
say-
News
that's
arena
not what
bombing
I've just
now.
said. That's not
because
what I've
we
just
have
said.
very real issues with integration, and I've even had
Okay.
lots of minority Brits in this seat say exactly the
Jackie
same thing.
Pearce.
What? So, why? Why did it happen? Why did the Manchester bombing happen? Because, you know, people like you talking about terrorism. That's why. Why did all those people, why did those little girls get killed in Southport? Because people talk about people killing people and knives. You know, that's why. And tell me, for the love of God, what is a grown woman doing with that hair? What is that? What is a grown woman doing with Pekingese hair or Shih Tzu? There's a joke about that, isn't there? I went to a zoo. There was I went to an animal sanctuary. There was only had one dog. Oh, was it good? No, it was a Shih Tzu. Anyway, this like. Why did all those girls get raped across and are still being raped across the last few decades, the last 7 decades by Pakistani Muslims? Well, because of Islamophobia, obviously. But you know, it's because divisive people. That's why so many people got blown up in that, and we came together. But don't talk about who did it, but we came together. It was great, and I'm a plumber. Oh, me, plumbing. She's not, is she? She's not a plumber. She's a heat engineer, so I hear. And I think you should be able to earn money. Do what you like. Be rich. I don't care. If you've worked hard and you've got lucky, then good luck to you. You deserve it. But don't start talking about wealth tax and being sort of a person of the people. And Hannah Spencer, don't talk about burqas. You know, that's what makes people not like burqas is burqas. People don't like terrorism because people keep saying that terrorism is bad, and it's not. You know, we care about terrorists. And she does this thing, and I think it happens a lot. And Northerners, I love you all, as you may well know, but there is this thing that I think Southerners do and posh people do, where if you have a Northern accent, you're automatically thought of as salt of the earth, honest, hardworking, working class. And it's just not true. It's just not true. Anyway, so Hannah Spencer is lots of things, and you know, working class plumber, obviously, hardworking working class plumber. And she she is in a party where the deputy leader, his wife, old Monthly Ali or whatever his name is, his wife wears a burqa. And it's totally mad. So anyway, I'm doing some merch. Please support it, because that's the only way I get to do any of this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go and get a real job, because my husband's all right with me not bringing in an income, but he wouldn't be all right about me spending lots of money and traveling all over the country. So that's why I have to raise money for this merch. Anyway, I understand that something like going to Whitechapel and having an event might really worry you. But think about in 10 years if you don't go, if we don't start speaking. Really. Just think about it. Because it's gonna take us women. It's gonna take everyone. But I do think it's gonna take a lot of us women who are not frightened to say the things we need to say, because maybe that we have more of a right to walk on those streets without the police thinking it's all right for men to threaten us with violence. I'm not saying that's true. I hope it's true. And then also I complained to the BBC today. You can complain too. I complained because I'm going to show you this. Let me just find it. Okay. So this was the headline for the BBC, which is despicable. Let me make that bigger. I hope you can see that. Let me just double check. So it says 9 arrested over death of far-right student. So that man there, Quentin, he saw some girls being attacked who were also in that article called far-right feminists, because they are against the millions and millions of undocumented migrants in France and the rise in sexual violence against women and just general violence in France. And so they're out sort of protesting, and a mob of Antifa set upon them. So he went over to defend them and he was beaten to death. And this is how this guy called Hugo covered it. 9 arrested in France over death of a far-right student. This is he. His name is Hugo Schofield. He's quite often on the BBC. And he studied Arabic and Turkish at Oxford University. And he went to Clifton College. So he's a proper posho. And by the looks of it, he is most likely on the far left of politics. So you can call the BBC on 03700. I'll just show you here. 03700 100 222, and you can complain about that. Now, if I'd realised that you just had to pick up a phone and complain about anything, I'd been complaining all the time about the BBC. So be a squeaky wheel, everybody. So that's 03700 100 222. But he was, this kid was beaten to death, and there's no mention of far left violence in the article, but there are far right feminists, and this man who was killed defending women who were being beaten up. He had to be called far right, and it happens all the time. It happened to me not very long ago. I met a journalist, and he's very nice, really well respected, has done some amazing work. And he was very upset that I'd gone to the Unite the Kingdom rally. And he thought that I should stay away from Tommy Robinson on the things that Tommy Robinson had been accused of. And I said to him, well, do you think he's racist? And he said, yeah, he's a racist grifter. And he, he's got loads of convictions. And I said, well, what for? And he said, well, mortgage. And I was like, well, I bought my first house in the early 2000s when everybody was defrauding mortgage companies. They were saying that they earned more than they did, or they were borrowing a deposit from a bank and all this sort of stuff. So I don't really know what the mortgage fraud is. And actually, it doesn't really mean that much to me. I don't know if I really care about mortgage fraud. And, I'm working class. When I was growing up, some of my cousins and some of my friends would get in fights. So I'm not actually that worried about fights. It's not something that I think, that automatically makes someone a bad person. It just means that they got a bit tasty when they were drunk, probably. Or they defended a woman. Or they just got a bit of a shoulder barge and decided that that was an invitation to beat the living shit out of someone. So it doesn't really do that sort of thing for me that it might do for you. And I said, do you think anything that Tommy Robinson has done is worse than the crimes that he highlights? And he was like, no. And I said, well, then, when you find something that he's done that's worse than the gang rape of a girl, then I'll agree with you. I'll say that he should be avoided. But until that day, I can't say I'm too bothered about it all. Anyway, so then a few days later, I'm discussed in an article of his, and then he says that I'm accused of being far right, or that I am far right, or some people say I'm far right or something. And I just thought, why do you need to do that? Because actually, if you put in an article If I put, well, you know, John Smith, some people accuse him of being a paedophile. You're not going to go, oh, some people accuse. You're going to say, oh, John Smith's a paedophile. No smoke without fire. Or, you know, oh, somebody accused him of racism. Oh, he must be a racist then. It's just like we have to start focusing on what's important. What is the most important thing going on right now? Well, in the world, hidden, not in the Epstein files, not even the Pakistani rape gangs that have been convicted. But there are hundreds of thousands of children that are missing and that are being sex trafficked or have been used for organs. Like the fact that we're getting worried about the criminal history of somebody with some convictions for mortgage fraud in comparison to the rape of girls just blows my mind. The fact that we know that people have come up throughout the years that we've all decided were crazy, that have said that people are eating children, people are torturing children, people are trafficking children. That I heard that during the Bosnia Yugoslavia war, that one of the things that soldiers were finding on the side of the road, one of the things the soldiers were finding on the side of the road were children's bodies discarded with their organs harvested. And then what I heard when I went to that far left conference that Feminist said was a far right conference in Sweden, it was a far left conference in Norway. And actually looking back, I went so that I could just tell as many people as possible what I was talking about. Anyway, met loads of people that talked about the white helmets and the white helmets kind of pretending to rescue. And actually, sometimes these white helmets being in vans and calling healthy children to the vans to kidnap those children and traffic those children. So it's like, it's massive. The shit that's really going on is massive, and we have absolutely no idea. So I'm not going to get distracted by things like the things that I'm supposed to get distracted by. I'm supposed to think this person that's telling us about some of the gravest crimes, massive criminal networks in our country, I'm not going to be distracted by some sort of minor misdemeanor in order to stop me from focusing on the things I should focus on.
Thank you very
That was total accident.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's
Anyway,
the nicest thing that...
Anyway, I better shoot off and go and do some work before I'm on with Dan Wootton. If you can keep speaking the truth, even though you know it's so hard, then I promise we will win. If you can get on board with this train that I'm currently on right now, which is telling the truth about Islam and the threat to the United Kingdom, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Well, because I never lose.
I've sold more of my soul than any record. Celebrate the pimps and johns and call it equality. And just because you say you want rights for women, I'll pretend I don't know what a woman is. Misogyny, like a rocket fuel charging me. Misogyny, your boundaries don't apply to me. I love the brothels where no one makes demands for reason, where I pretend I'm a rock star for just one more season. I claim I honor women, but I can't define the word. I pretend the concept of an adult human female is fundamentally absurd. I'm on the side of history if it was full of shit. And if you're looking for a good guy, I'm definitely not it. Misogyny, like a rocket fuel charging me. Misogyny, your boundaries don't apply to me. I love the brothels where no one makes demands for reason, where I pretend I'm a rock star for just one more season. I'm flesh. My cringe fest ways, my woke displays, and calling people fash, berating women, spewing Nazi for your consideration. Belittling women and their concerns is my ultimate masturbation. Misogyny, like a rocket fuel charging me. Misogyny, your boundaries don't apply to me. I love the brothels where no one makes demands for reason, where I pretend I'm a rock star for just one more season. Berating women, spewing Nazi for your consideration. Belittling women and their concerns is my ultimate masturbation. Berating women, spewing Nazi for your consideration. Belittling women and their concerns is my ultimate masturbation. Misogyny, like a rocket fuel charging me. Misogyny, your boundaries don't apply to me. I love the brothels where no one makes demands for reason, where I pretend I'm a rock star for just one more season. Misogyny, like a rocket fuel charging me. Misogyny, your boundaries don't apply to me. I love the brothels where no one makes demands for reason, where I pretend I'm a rock star for just one more